Hello, welcome to our news package brought to you at this hour. I am Emmanuel Amalo. We'll begin with the lead stories. Federal government plans to sell federal assets and concession to a few others in 2021. The Kogi state government debunks report of bread levy in the state. On the foreign scene, the United Arab Emirates plans to grant doctors and graduate students 10-year resident visas. And in sports, Lewis Hamilton makes history as he wins his 7th Formula One title. Good morning. The federal government has concluded plans to sell the Guguru, Omotosho and Calabar power plants for 434 billion naira next year, with the proceeds to be paid into the Niger Delta Power Holding Company. The government has also concluded plans to concession the National Stadium Lagos, Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abuja, Jos International Stadium, and Adokie Amasemaka Stadium in Port Harcourt for 100 million naira next year. Also, the government will in 2021 concession the National Art Theatre, Tafawa Balewa Square, and all the River Basin Development Authorities to the tune of 836 million naira. The arrangements by the government are contained in the document submitted by the Bureau of Public Enterprises to the Senate during the 2021 budget defense in Abuja. There are indications that the federal government might adopt any payment platform developed in universities as an alternative to the government-proposed integrated payroll and personal information system. Mr. Charles Akpan, the spokesperson for the Ministry of Labour and Employment, who gave the indication, however, gave conditions for adopting any payment platform apart from the IPPIS, insisting that any new platform must be capable of eliminating ghost workers and other forms of corruption in payment of salaries. The University Transparency and Accountability Solution, UTAS, which was presented as an alternative to the IPPIS, is currently being tested by the government. The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaj Saad Abubakar III, has directed Muslim Ummah to watch out for the new moon of Rabi al-Thani, which is the 4th month in the Islamic calendar after the birth month of Prophet Muhammad. The Sultan made the request and informed on Sunday, November 15th, that the celebration was equivalent to the 29th day of Rabi Awal and tasked Muslims to report the new moon sighting to the nearest district or village head for onward communication to the Sultan. The federal government has intended on making plans to adopt a career path policy for Nigerian teachers to eliminate unqualified teachers in the education sector. The Permanent Secretary at the Federal Ministry of Education, Mr. Sonny Echonio, made a disclosure at the weekend and further noted that a National Implementation Committee will be set up within the week by the Education Minister, Malam Adamu, Registrar and Chief Executive of the TRCN, Professor Josiah Olusegun Ajiboye, and in his remarks, blamed the COVID-19 pandemic for the drop in the figures of registered exam candidates for this year, having begun the process with just 7,000 people before moving to the level of over 40,000 candidates. Residents of Benin City, the capital of Edo State and environs, have expressed fear over the rising cases of cult-related killings and armed robberies in different parts of the city. Some residents have lamented to the press that the police are no longer acting as the EndSARS protests, which were hijacked by thugs, had demoralized the police. At least 7 police stations were vandalized and burnt at the peak of the protests. In reaction, the State Commissioner of Police, Johnson Kukumu, confirmed that the attack in police facilities and patrol vehicles during the EndSARS protests have affected the operations. We move over to the Kogi state government, where it had debunked reports that it had imposed a tax on bread. The statement by the Deputy Governor of the state, Edward Onoja, indicated that there was no iota of truth in the claim circulating in the news across social media and in news platforms that neither the governor nor the State Executive Council approved such levy, insisting that the news reports, which emanated from a consultancy agreement between one of its ministries and a private firm, was an embarrassment to the state government, Onoja assured that no extra financial burden will apply for the time being on citizens. We move over to the foreign scene where Kenyan doctors have issued a 3-week strike notice accusing the government of failing to provide frontline workers with adequate protective gear in the fight against the coronavirus. Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union on Sunday said they will go on strike unless their plight is addressed, as over the last 8 months, it was continuously engaging all relevant government ministries to no avail. The union's Secretary General faulted the government for failing to address their plight, leading to the deaths of at least 30 medical workers, including 10 senior specialists. The coronavirus pandemic has claimed 139 lives in the past week in Kenya and 1,269 since March, when the virus broke. And the United Arab Emirates have announced plans to grant all doctors and health workers who are helping to combat the coronavirus pandemic in the country a 10-year visa. Those eligible also include holders of doctorate degrees, medical doctors and computers, electronics, programming, electric and biotechnology engineers. Its Prime Minister, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, who tweeted about this yesterday, also said students from accredited universities who are getting top grades would also qualify, along with those holding specialized degrees in artificial intelligence, big data and epidemiology. The similar scheme last year drew in some 6,800 investors in a windfall worth $27 billion for the economy. A quick sprint into the sporting world. Nigerian Super Eagles team coach Gunnar Rowe has complained that the young players in his team are not strong enough for the efforts of AFCON qualifiers. However, admitting poor preparation, he noted that his team only had one quality training, as some players had come a day to the match. And in the second half of last Friday's 4-4 draw against Sierra Leone in Benin City, his players had lost energy physically and mentally. In an interview granted to the Super Eagles YouTube channel, coach Gunnar Rowe had explained his choice of players, their current form, and gave reason why he played Hoffenheim centre-back Kevin Akpoboma as right-back. The Nigerian team still tops Group L with 7 points from 3 games and will play the Leon Stars of Sierra Leone in a reverse fixture tomorrow in Freetown. And a quick drive in Formula 1, Britain's Lewis Hamilton won his 7th Formula 1 World Championship yesterday and became the most successful driver in the sport's history. The Mercedes driver claimed a 94th career win at a roller coaster of a Turkish Grand Prix with 6 races to spare, making the 35-year-old with more races, pole positions and podium finishes than anyone in the history of the sport. Only Ferrari great Michael Schumacher has 7 titles to his name, even though most of the Germans' record have passed on to Hamilton. And to the exciting world of entertainment, Kylie Minogue has become the first female artist to score a #1 on the UK's official album chart in 5 consecutive decades. The 52-year-old singer topped the album chart with her new album, Disco, and had previously scored a #1 album in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s, now the 20s, and another new record for the singer this year. Disco also marks the biggest opening week of 2020 so far in the UK, with the 5,000 chart sales, making it Kylie's biggest opening week in 10 years since 2010's Aphrodite. Kylie has now surpassed the likes of Sir Elton John, Sir Cliff Richard, and George Michael in the all-time league of acts with the most UK #1 albums, with 8 chart toppers to her name. And that's our new package on this hour. Stay with us for more updates on Football TV news. Rise and Shine is up next. Stay with us. My name remains Emmanuel Zamalo. Thanks for watching.